Right, we're going to be looking into something called a vbind here, and how we can use this, because this is nice, right? We can print out our text from a data, but what if we wanted to add, for example, a link? So in my JavaScript application here, I'm just inside my data up here where we have Homer. We're just gonna create a new one. We're just gonna call this a website link, right? Oh, we're just gonna call it a website. That's easy. And in here, we're just gonna call. Let's just go to Google. That's something I can really remember. Google, like this. That's kind of where we want to send people if they click something, right? So let's click save and let's try doing something similar here. Now, if we were to create a standard href in HTML, we would just do like, it's just a tag and then this, and then we would do HTTP, bam, 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 and then for whatever page, right? But what about Vue? Can I just type in website, because it's inside the Vue instance, right? So we should know there's some data in here, and this is called website. So let's try to see what this actually does. So just type in website. Let's go to our code here, document, and it's already giving me an error. And right now there's nothing. Of course, I just remember to go to page, right? Go to page, just put in some text. It's gonna help a lot. So go to page. I'm gonna right click on this, inspect, go to the element, and right now I can see my href says website. That doesn't work. That's not what's supposed to happen. Whatever I'm writing in my data here is not being printed as I want. So what if I write like these curly brackets, right? We did this before. What about now? Should it do? Wait, it should get my data, right? No, it still just does this curly bracket thingy here. What we need to do is we need to use a directive from Vue called bind, or vbind. That means we're grabbing the data from our app in here, and we're binding it, kind of attaching it, if you want, to this. So we can actually start using dynamic data in here. So by dynamic, I mean if we had the other family members from this specific family, cartoon family here, we could have different pages, different skills, different names. So for each one, they might have a different web page. So instead of us having to type that out 5 times, we would just have the dynamic data through this print out the specific page for each person. So let's do this. So instead of doing this, we're just going to use double quotation, and write website like this. And let's try and see what this does to our page. Still goes website, because I forgot to do the bind. Whoops. So inside our href here, we're going to do the v-bind, and then we're going to use this separator here. So this is what I need separated, the colon. So this is what I need to write just in front of our href, like this, v-bind-href. Let's see if this works. So now I actually have my link. So if I click it, I should go to Google. Whoop-de-doo. And that's awesome, right? But we don't want to go to Google. Not right now, at least. But that's how you do this. Now, we can write v-bind each time we want for this directive. Or if you want, there's a shorthand notation which does just this. So just use a colon. But I'm probably going to be using this. At times I might be doing this, but they do the same thing. This is just shorthand notation. But this is how we can start actually binding specific data, dynamic data, to things like this, like a link or similar things in our case. Now we can also do this with other things than link. If I can get back to my, not the Camtasia, sorry. If I can get back to this, we can also do more than this, of course. So if we were to create an input field, right? Like so, we want some sort of text, and we want to just start to print out a value. So whatever value, let's just see what this does. Go refresh, and then we have value, right? We wanted this part here to be printed. Awesome, right? But if I wanted to have it print out Homer, like it does now, but I don't want to type it in. I want this to be dynamic as well. How can I do this? Similar to how I did the other one, of course, which is by using the bind key, right? So let's try this. So let's, for the value, which is the one we want to change, we're just going to use v-bind, value, and then I'm just going to print out the job. Not job, skills. In my head it was job, so it's skills, right? So let's try this. So v-job skills, hopefully it says donut eating here. So now we are actually printing out, and I can change this whatever I want, right? So I'm binding the data to this input HTML element here, and it's grabbing information from our Vue instance and printing this one out. So that's one of it. Another thing we could do is we can actually print out the entirety of one of those in here. Let's just quickly see how we can do that. And let's say you want to print out the entirety of a standard HTML, right? An HTML reference. So I'm just going to create it in here because it's faster, and then copy pasting it. I want an href, right? I want this to go to Google again. HTTP Google, like so, and the Googles. That's pretty, right? So I want all of this to actually be printed out, tags and everything from within our Vue instance, within our JavaScript. I want this to be able to print this one out. So how I would do this is I would create in my instance up here, I will just create website total link, right? Good naming, right? Excellent, excellent. In here I will create my my quotation marks, so it's a string. I just paste this in, and that's kind of what I need to do. So all of this specific item here, this object here, or variable, is containing this element, so tags and everything. And I just want to print this out into my HTML. So in here I can do something called a, let's just create a div. And in here I'm going to create a v-html because that's what I basically want to print out. And there's more, you can search for this. And what do we want to print out? We want to print out the website link, total link. I should have named it something else. I'm just going to go copy this to make sure. Yep, that's right. So right now this is grabbing all the information from this one here. And because it's stated that it's HTML, it knows that whenever it has a greater or lesser than sign, that is probably part of the tag. So let's try and see what this does. So right now we have Google. Let's go hover over Google. Where did it go? Right click, inspect. And now you can see it actually works. It's printing out everything, and the link still works. We still go to Google's site. So that's how we can use binding in a few different ways, and we're also going to be using that quite a lot throughout this series.